to have a conversation that's not being had. And I'm really sorry that these conversations are being had by a comedian. I wish too that it was a religious leader of some kind having this conversation, or somebody's politician talking about this stuff.
I don't just tell black secrets. I tell white secrets too, because we all family. They don't lie to some of us, they lie to all of us.
Katt Williams has never been one to bite his tongue, and that's exactly why Hollywood stays nervous around him. From tearing up comedy stages in the early 2000s to setting the internet on fire with his interviews, he's become more than just a comedian. He's a straight-up whistleblower blowing the lid off Hollywood's darkest corners.
He said, I'm not doing this. You are not going to get a black man, a real black man, to agree to do this to another black man.
His run-ins with heavyweights like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Kevin Hart didn't just make headlines, they split the industry in half. Some see him as fearless, others as reckless. But one thing's for sure, Katt Williams refuses to bow down to anyone. But how did all this start? When Katt first hit the spotlight, fans couldn't get enough of his razor-sharp jokes, flashy suits, and wild energy. He had that rare gift, turning real-life struggles into punchlines that hit hard but still made you laugh till your stomach hurt. Yet behind the stage lights and laughter, he was crafting something deeper. He wasn't chasing approval. He was exposing truth. By the mid-2000s, his image had shifted from just a comedian to a man on a mission.
So many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Oh, he's right there.
Katt started dropping serious claims about the entertainment industry, calling out what he saw as exploitation, especially of black artists. He said Hollywood only rewards those who play the game and punishes anyone who dares to speak out. In interviews, he talked about hidden gatekeepers and secret deals, deciding who gets fame and who gets frozen out. He didn't just make jokes, he dropped warnings. Fans began realizing that the man on stage wasn't just clowning around, he was revealing what most people never get to see. But the more he spoke, the harder Hollywood pushed back. Instead of addressing what he said, the media painted him as crazy, unhinged, or hard to work with. Even Saturday Night Live joined in, mocking his voice, his walk, and his iconic hair. But Katt didn't find it funny. He saw it as a smear campaign meant to make people laugh at him, not listen to him. And then came the celebrity clashes. Katt went after Steve Harvey, claiming he stole material from comedian Mark Curry, a bold accusation that sent shockwaves through the comedy world. He didn't hold back either, saying Harvey cared more about keeping his media empire intact than standing up for real creativity. The drama exploded online and had fans debating who was telling the truth.
Halloween was a trip. Halloween, we couldn't afford no Halloween costumes. Hey, kids, please. Mama sent us down to the liquor store, put boxes on us.
Every Halloween, I had the same outfit on. Every year. I just had a brown box.
Katt Williams wasn't just making jokes anymore. He was throwing Hollywood's own playbook right back in its face. Katt Williams wasn't scared of stepping on powerful toes, and that's exactly what made him dangerous in Hollywood's eyes. Every time he spoke, it was like dropping a match in a room full of gasoline. Some people called him confrontational, others called him courageous, but in his mind, he was defending the truth and protecting the soul of comedy itself. While critics branded him reckless, fans saw him as the one voice fearless enough to say out loud what everyone else whispered behind closed doors. By the late 2000s, Katt wasn't just a comedian anymore. He was an entertainer, a truth teller, and a full-blown agitator shaking up an industry built on image. The stage might have been Hollywood, but Katt was using that spotlight to shine on all the shady corners that people preferred to keep dark. His mission wasn't about telling jokes anymore. It was about pulling the mask off the system he said was dripping with favoritism, hypocrisy, and greed. And trust, that was just the start of the chaos to come. Williams's whistleblower reputation hit another level when he began calling out some of the biggest power players in show business. These weren't small-time beefs. These were headline-making showdowns with icons like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Kevin Hart. Each feud revealed how Katt saw Hollywood, a closed circle protecting a chosen few while shutting out everyone else. The Oprah situation left fans stunned. Katt accused her of trying to organize a quiet boycott against rapper 50 Cent, saying she used her platform to silence voices that didn't fit her clean-cut brand. He didn't mince words either. He said Oprah's influence went far beyond her talk show, claiming she was pulling strings behind the scenes to control who succeeded and who got blacklisted. It's not confirmed, but online fans began echoing his claims, saying Oprah might be part of what Katt called the Hollywood machine. Debates exploded everywhere. Some believed Katt was finally exposing the truth that no one else dared touch, while others said he was just stirring up more heat for attention. Either way, people were listening and arguing nonstop. Then came the storm with Tyler Perry. Katt went in hard, criticizing Perry's casting choices and business style. He said Perry's empire was built on favoritism and secret deals that pushed out talented actors who wouldn't play along. In one fiery moment during a joint talk with actor Terrence Howard, Williams straight up accused Perry of keeping certain black actors down just to protect his own position at the top. Fans were divided again. Many pointed out that Perry had opened doors for countless stars, but Katt refused to back down. He said Perry's success came with a cost, that the real artistry of black entertainment was being sold out for control and image. And then there was Kevin Hart, the feud that just wouldn't die. Katt claimed Hart took roles that were originally meant for him, hinting that the industry handpicked Kevin as their safe face of comedy. He painted Hart as the Hollywood-approved version of a black comedian, funny, friendly, but never too bold. Katt said Hart's rise wasn't natural, it was engineered. When Kevin finally responded, he didn't match the fire. He brushed it off, saying he was focused on his career and had no time for drama. He called the whole thing entertainment and laughed it away like it didn't matter. But to Katt, that response was the problem. He saw it as proof that the system rewards silence and compliance while pushing aside anyone who dares to challenge the game. To Kevin, Katt's words were just noise. But to Katt Williams, they were a warning shot about what really happens when you speak against Hollywood's chosen ones.
It's really not hard. If you have real problems with people, and your problems are like serious, it's not hard to ever get to a person and really like address the problem correctly. The problems that people have with me, they aren't my problems.
Every feud Katt Williams stepped into seemed to circle back to the same story: Katt versus the Hollywood machine. Whether it was Oprah allegedly pulling strings, Tyler Perry running what Katt called a closed-door empire, or Kevin Hart acting like a Hollywood gatekeeper, Williams saw himself as the lone voice daring to say what everyone else was too scared to admit. And the more he talked, the more the industry tensed up, worried about what he might expose next. If you ever needed proof that Katt Williams wasn't scared of smoke, look no further than his clashes with Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. These two were comedy royalty, beloved for the original kings of comedy, their sitcoms and talk show empires. But to Katt, they weren't legends. They were part of the problem. He accused them of taking shortcuts, recycling other comedians' work, and hiding behind polished TV smiles that didn't match the truth. Williams didn't hold back. He said Steve Harvey stole jokes, not just from him, but from comedian Mark Curry too, and even claimed that Harvey exaggerated stories about his tough upbringing to make his come-up sound more dramatic. Katt called that fake hustle, saying it wasn't about comedy anymore, it was about crafting a fake legend. Online, fans jumped in, repeating Katt's accusations and calling Harvey's success borrowed brilliance. For Williams, it wasn't about petty beef, it was about integrity. He said comedy was supposed to come from truth, and anyone faking that was betraying the craft.
Halloween was a trip. Halloween, we couldn't afford no Halloween costumes. Hey, kids, please. Mama sent us down to the liquor store, put boxes on us.
Every Halloween, I had the same outfit on. Every year. I just had a brown box.
Then things got personal. Katt said both Harvey and Cedric had privately admitted to stealing material, but never owned up to it publicly. That turned up the heat, especially when Cedric flat out denied it. Williams accused him of taking one of his best bits, the same one Cedric performed in the 2000 film, The Original Kings of Comedy. Cedric brushed it off, saying if Katt had a problem, he should have said something years ago. But that didn't cool things down. It reignited the whole fire. Cedric's denial only fueled Katt even more. He doubled down in interviews, saying this wasn't about one joke, it was about respect. He claimed Harvey and Cedric symbolized everything wrong with the industry. Older stars getting credit for work that came from hungrier, lesser-known comedians trying to break through. To Katt, that wasn't just shady. It was a straight-up reflection of how Hollywood worked. The industry rewarded the safe faces that played nice while pushing out the raw, unapologetic voices that told uncomfortable truths. Steve Harvey stayed silent the whole time. No tweets, no interviews, no responses. Some people said he was just refusing to give Katt the attention he wanted. Others saw that silence as a red flag, like maybe Harvey didn't want to poke a bear who knew too much. Either way, the feud exploded across comedy circles. What started as a fight about jokes turned into a debate about credibility, power, and legacy. Katt positioned himself as the last man standing, willing to call out the so-called kings and put his own career on the line doing it. Whether people agreed with him or not, his image as Hollywood's loudest whistleblower got even louder and more dangerous for anyone guarding their brand. But then came another twist. His name started getting linked with Dave Chappelle. Suddenly, two of comedy's biggest truth tellers were being mentioned in the same breath. Both had reputations for refusing to bow to Hollywood's rules, and both were seen as outsiders who walked their own path. Fans started calling them the real voices of comedy, the ones who wouldn't sell out. But Katt's relationship with Chappelle wasn't all praise. Sometimes he called him a hero, but other times he threw shade, questioning whether Chappelle's famous move, walking away from that $50 million Comedy Central deal in 2005, was really as noble as people made it seem. During a 2024 sit-down on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay, Williams spoke candidly about it. He said, in his opinion, there was more to the story than what people saw on TV. He hinted that the deal might not have been as clean or simple as the public thought, and that Chappelle's exit, while iconic, might have been wrapped in politics that no one dared to talk about. Katt's comments reignited debates across social media. Was he jealous, or was he exposing something hidden? Whatever people believed, one thing stayed crystal clear. Katt Williams had no filter, no fear, and no loyalty to Hollywood's unwritten rules. Every time he spoke, the walls of silence in the industry cracked a little more. On the Club Shay Shay podcast, Katt Williams spoke openly about Dave Chappelle's big decision to walk away from that massive Comedy Central deal, and his words carried weight. He said, "I respect him for walking away from the money." Williams explained that Hollywood's pressure could crush even the toughest minds, and it took serious guts to walk away from millions just to keep your soul intact. To him, Chappelle's refusal to compromise wasn't weakness, it was real strength. Fans took it as Katt extending an olive branch, a moment of respect between two comedians who'd both fought against Hollywood's control. But of course, with Katt, there's always another layer. In other interviews, he hinted that Chappelle's decision might not have been totally voluntary. He suggested that power players in the industry might have pushed Chappelle out, quietly, behind the scenes.
Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
To Williams, that raised big questions. Was Chappelle's exit truly about integrity, or was he forced out because he wouldn't play Hollywood's game? Fans went wild debating it online, some siding with Katt's suspicions, others defending Chappelle's walkout as the ultimate act of rebellion. Then came Chappelle's subtle but sharp response. During a 2024 set at the Hollywood Improv, he addressed Williams without naming him directly. Chappelle said, "He only eats his own, never says anything about any of these white boys." The crowd caught the meaning instantly. He was calling out Katt for aiming too much fire at other black comedians instead of taking on the bigger system that controlled them all. Chappelle followed it up with, "We're comedians. We don't attack each other." His tone was calm but pointed. He was all about unity, not rivalry. The exchange showed just how complicated their dynamic really was. Both men were critics of Hollywood's corruption. Both were respected for their honesty, but they had very different ways of fighting back. Katt's approach was direct. He named names, exposed patterns, and demanded accountability from individuals. He believed real change started by calling out those who abused their power one by one. Chappelle, on the other hand, believed in going after the system itself, keeping comedians united instead of divided. Even with their disagreements, the overlap between their messages couldn't be ignored. Chappelle's 2021 Netflix special, The Closer, stirred huge debates about censorship and artistic freedom. Meanwhile, Williams' own Heaven on Earth comedy tour became a firestorm of truth bombs. He ripped into Hollywood's fake morality, the exploitation behind the cameras, and the lies told to protect powerful people. Both men had their own lanes, but the destination was the same, exposing how deep the deception in entertainment really runs. Whether through Chappelle's quiet brilliance or Katt's explosive energy, both made it clear, Hollywood's smiles come with strings attached. In many ways, Williams and Chappelle were two sides of the same coin. One was loud and unfiltered, ready to name names and drop bombs on anyone hiding behind power. The other was smooth and subtle, using wit to cut through hypocrisy without ever raising his voice. But when you put them together, their combined message hit harder than any script could handle. Hollywood's illusion was cracking, and the audience was finally starting to see through it.
So many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Oh, he's right there. Katt's whistleblower image wasn't just built on talking about celebrities, it was about protecting his own work and refusing to let anyone rewrite his story. One of the clearest examples of that came way back in 2002 during the making of Friday After Next, the third installment in the legendary Friday franchise, and that's where Katt's fight for creative respect turned from talk into action. Katt Williams lit up the screen in Friday After Next as the unforgettable Money Mike, a flashy, fast-talking pimp with a golden tongue and wild confidence. But behind all that laughter, there was a serious battle brewing that most fans never knew about.
Think about your mama, man.
Think about my mama. Think about your ass.
Think about what your mama say. You all right?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I got a little razzle-dazzle. This all right. My name is Money Mike, player. How you doing? All right.
According to Williams, the original script for the film included a scene where his character was supposed to be sexually assaulted. The moment he read it, he said something inside him snapped. It didn't sit right. He believed the scene wasn't just inappropriate for a comedy, it completely crossed the line of decency and respect. Katt didn't just shrug it off, he fought back hard. He told the producers straight up that the joke wasn't funny and that forcing it into the film would only cheapen the story and the message. His refusal to play along caused tension on set, but he stood firm. In the end, his resistance paid off. The scene was cut from the final version and fans never saw it on screen. Years later, when the story surfaced, people praised him for standing on principle. Even as a new actor in a massive franchise, Katt showed he wasn't going to sell out his values for a paycheck. It wasn't about ego, it was about integrity. To him, comedy should never sacrifice respect just to chase shock value or laughs. Fans who learned the truth online called it one of the clearest examples of who Katt Williams really is, a man who values truth more than fame, someone willing to walk away from anything that violates his moral code, even when Hollywood expected him to keep quiet. But Katt's stand for integrity didn't stop there. He carried that same energy into his interviews, where he tackled one of the most controversial topics in modern entertainment, cancel culture. While many celebrities danced around the subject, Katt went straight for the heart of it. He said cancel culture wasn't hitting the real targets. It's always the small people they come for, he argued, pointing out that the rich and powerful always walk away untouched, while struggling artists get dragged. For him, it wasn't about defending bad behavior, it was about exposing hypocrisy. He believed people should focus accountability on those pulling the strings, not the ones just trying to survive under them. That take set him apart, especially in an era when most stars played it safe, apologizing before the internet even finished getting mad. Katt refused to bend. He stood by his words, saying comedy isn't supposed to make everyone comfortable. It's supposed to make people think. And for him, truth had no safety net.
In our industry, who pays you is who tells you what narrative you're allowed to use. And I'm not paid, so I own my narrative. That is what makes my opinion valuable at all.
The theme of integrity showed up again during his Heaven on Earth comedy tour, where he blended razor-sharp humor with real talk. Between the jokes, he called out how Hollywood chews up its talent, exposes lies in the media, and praises fake perfection while hiding exploitation behind the scenes. Fans said it felt less like a show and more like a confession from someone who'd seen the machine from the inside. Through all of it, one thing stayed constant. Katt Williams refused to let Hollywood own his morals. Whether it was cutting a scene that disrespected his values or refusing to cave under cancel culture pressure, Katt always drew the line where few comedians ever dared. He made it clear he'd rather lose the industry than lose his voice, and that fearless energy turned him into something bigger than a performer. It made him a symbol of resistance in an entertainment world built on compromise. By the time the 2020s rolled around, Katt Williams wasn't just known as a top-tier comedian, he was known as the one who told the truth no matter the cost. Fans said that's exactly why so many celebrities were afraid of him. He had receipts, he had principles, and he had the guts to say what others wouldn't. His enemies weren't random, they were powerful. And his refusal to stay quiet made him unpredictable, untouchable, and dangerous to anyone trying to keep secrets. Even Kevin Hart, one of his biggest rivals, stayed cautious when Katt's name came up. And when a legend like Eddie Murphy himself hinted that Hart had every reason to be careful around Williams, well, that said it all. Some fans took Eddie Murphy's comments as a quiet warning that even legends knew Katt Williams had the kind of power to shake comedy right down to its core. Murphy didn't say much, but people read between the lines. They believed he was hinting that Williams was a force too raw, too real, and too unpredictable for anyone's comfort. Kevin Hart's perfectly polished image of mainstream success clashed hard with Katt's unfiltered truth-teller energy. That contrast alone had fans thinking Hart feared losing control of the narrative every time Williams said his name. Because when Katt talks, people listen. And when people listen, the mask slips. And it wasn't just comedians feeling the tension. Ice Cube, another heavyweight in both music and film, spoke about why even someone like Oprah Winfrey seemed to move carefully around Katt Williams. Internet debates exploded after clips surfaced suggesting Oprah, despite her massive influence, chose not to directly address Williams's claims. To his supporters, that silence said everything. It meant his words hit too close to home.
Just wanted to address a few things. Everybody been checking out the internet. My man Katt Williams. First of all, I just want to...
Online, fans began connecting dots and pulling receipts. They claimed Hollywood's elite were walking on eggshells whenever Katt's name came up. Theories flooded social media threads saying stars like Marlon Wayans and Taraji P. Henson kept their distance on purpose, worried that one wrong word might make them the next topic in one of Katt's fiery interviews. It's not confirmed, one viral post read, but all signs point to Hollywood's biggest names not wanting smoke with Katt. And who can blame them? After all, Williams had proven time and time again that no name was too big, no reputation too untouchable. He'd gone after moguls, comedians, producers, and icons, and never flinched once. But behind the fame, the laughs, and the chaos, tragedy wasn't far behind. In August 2025, shocking news broke. Reggie Carroll, a comedian who had been part of Katt's Heaven on Earth tour, was fatally shot.
Comedian Reggie Carroll has died. He was 52 years old.
The suspect was identified as Tel Marquis Williams, a security guard reportedly working for Katt at the time. The story hit the entertainment world like a storm. The tragedy cast a dark shadow over what had been one of the most successful and talked about comedy tours of the decade. Fans were heartbroken, while others said it was proof of how volatile things had become around Katt's world. The headlines came fast, but instead of compassion, much of the media focused on controversy, painting the story with the same sensational brush they'd always used on Williams. Even in grief, Katt refused to retreat. He stayed true to his message and told fans that 2024 marked the age of truth. He urged people to stop believing Hollywood's carefully crafted image and start questioning what was really going on behind the glitz and glamour. To his supporters, that wasn't just talk, it was a call to wake up. By now, Katt Williams had become more than a comedian. He was a movement, a man determined to expose what he saw as the hidden corruption, hypocrisy, and power plays controlling the industry from the shadows. And whether you agreed with him or not, you couldn't ignore him, because he was saying what everyone else was too scared to say out loud. Today, Katt Williams stands as one of the most polarizing figures in entertainment, loved by millions for his brutal honesty and fearless humor, hated by some for the same reasons. But whether it's fear or respect, one thing is undeniable. Hollywood pays attention when Katt Williams speaks, because if Katt decides to say your name, the internet lights up, the headlines multiply, and the world listens. So what do you think? Is Katt Williams the last real truth-teller in comedy, or just too real for Hollywood to handle? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video, and make sure you subscribe, because the next time Katt speaks, you won't want to miss what comes next. See you on the next one.